When Grant and I first got together, I wrote to him simply and only to have a platonic relationship with him, a distant platonic relationship with him. I had known him when I was 16 and had a somewhat I don't know what the right word is for it, but momentous experience with him, non-sexual. Had a connection with him that was neither friendship or sexual. When I reached out to him, I actually reached out in November 25th of 2016. I didn't think much of it, and honestly, I deleted the message I sent off of Facebook after that because I didn't want to know whether or not he'd read it or not. I didn't want to see. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to expect anything, and I wasn't. I actually did just want to be friends. We had been connected on Facebook many years ago, and for whatever reason, back in 2008, yeah, 2008, he had unfriended me for whatever reason. We had never had any interaction or anything like that at all, but I looked at it one day, and this was after, actually it might have been 2009. I went out to California from Denver for my 30th birthday, and it was just after the incident in Gun Barrel with my ex-husband. Anyhow, after that happened, I randomly, for no reason at all, like I just randomly happened to think, I wonder, is he still there? And I looked and he wasn't. He had deleted me. So I never did anything else about it at that time. I just left it. Got married, unfortunately, to said man and had 2 kids in California. And never revisited anything until one night when I was feeling stupid. 2017, I randomly was finishing up some homeschool stuff with my kids, and I reached out a message to just say hi. I was reaching out to a bunch of people actually at that same time, as I recall, a few other people I had known from Australia, as well as just other people I'd been out of touch with, and I happened to think of him. And I had known many years ago that he was married to Theresa, and so I thought they were still married and still together and so on. So I wrote and I said, hey, how are you doing? Something along the lines of like, hope you're doing well. Tell your wife I said hi. That was it. I didn't hear back for about 6 or 7 months, maybe longer. But I did hear back a cordial message and got a friend request, which I accepted. And dashed off a quick reply and like, oh, thanks, something like that. A couple months later, maybe a month later or so, I reached out again and to talk further. However, I was under the impression that he was still with his ex-wife and wasn't trying to interfere into anything. He let me know that they had separated and that he wasn't, they weren't together anymore. I said, I'm sorry. We continued talking. The more I spoke with him, he let me know that he did have something for me when he knew me when I was 16. And, 16 to 19, whatever it was. And we talked. There was never any mention of, so roughly about 2 weeks into talking, he told me that he loved me. I said it back to him. We continued to talk, and previous to that, he had said that he had been going over to visit with Theresa every week or two or something like that and hang out with their cats and stuff. But he had stopped doing that since we had been talking. He mentioned that she asked, why haven't you been coming around? So he did again once more. And I said, maybe, don't do that anymore. And he also asked similar things of me. So I also was done with the relationship with my ex-husband at that time. We weren't fully done with the divorce. The divorce process was only just starting. We had been at odds for many years. It was a very abusive and toxic and horrible relationship. And I was scared to leave, honestly. I tried several times and was called crazy and many names for trying to leave, and I was the bad person and so on. Anyway, Grant told me several times throughout the beginning of our relationship for the first couple of years that he detested hanging around Theresa, his ex-wife, and that he sometimes told me he felt ill after hanging around her. He and I started sharing locations with each other so I could see where he was going and if he was ever going over there or whatever. He said that he didn't like to have to deal with her directives and so on. I told him that you should handle anything from the past that is still lingering, that is, could potentially block future things between us. Anyhow, he said he did, but he never at all tried to impose his friendship in the beginning with her. And then I later found out they were still sharing locations, and I asked him to stop that. He seemed very guilty about it, but he reluctantly did that at the time. I was very confused why he did that.